All right, Brian, you ready for the next one?
Ready for the next one.
This one is from Feeden with a PH. It says, I hear about the milestone of your first $100,000. Does it make sense to do an in-service rollover with my current 401k so that I have a large pool of money in my IRA to benefit from compounding? All right, so I'm gonna lay this out. I've heard you say there's a milestone of having $100,000 invested. Well, does that mean I need to pull $100,000 out of my 401k so that I can get that money working for me? That's the first part of the question. And I think there's like this subtle other part of the question that's, hey, if I have a 401k or I have an old 401k, what do I do with it? How do I navigate that? How do I manage that?
So let's, first of all, we have a great resource.
Hey, new resource.
I want to tell you, moneyguy.com/resources. We actually have what happens if you have a 401k at an old employer. Now, this is Feedon. Is that how you said it?
Yeah, that works.
It sounds like they're trying to figure out how they get to that 100,000. And they're thinking this is a numbers game that it has to be in one account. So they're like even considering an in-service distribution from their 401k. The reality is that here's the cool thing about math. If you bought the same investment in your Roth IRA, say the S&P 500, you bought the same S&P 500 in your 401k at work, and then you bought the S&P 500 in an after-tax, investment account, a brokerage account, you could add them all up and they would still be the same $100,000. Now look,
and they can all be working for you.
They all be working for you. Now they might be taxed differently because I just gave you 3 different tax buckets there, but that doesn't mean that they're not still all working together. This is something we deal with all the time with couples. When we have prospects come in, it's always amazing to me that you'll see one spouse and their assets are like super conservative to the point that you can tell that they are scared to death to do any type of investing. And then you'll have another couple that is the wild, wild west of all technology all the time. And you'll go, hey, how are y'all looking at your assets together? And they're like, oh, no, we're not doing that at all.
No, that's not us.
They're scared.
That's not us.
I'm kind of wild. And I'm like, y'all kind of need to think about this is that even though these are separate accounts, how do you consolidate to look at this as a whole so you can make sure you maximize the opportunity of all those army of dollar bill members that you have, because you don't want to miss out.
You don't want to miss out. So I think one of the things every time, and this in-service rollover is an interesting thing. So a lot of plans won't even allow in-service 401k rollovers. If you're going to do that, you need to understand what are the pros and cons. If I move money out of my 401k into an IRA while I'm still working, is it valuable? Is it beneficial? Again, moneyguy.com/resources. Go check out our brand new deliverable that will kind of walk you through how to think through that. What are the questions I need to be thinking about? What are the things that I need to be looking at? Because it's not always the same. Even when you change jobs, sometimes it might make sense to leave one behind, or sometimes it might make sense to move it to your new 401k, or sometimes it might make sense to roll it into an IRA rollover. So you want to make sure that you are well informed of that decision. But I love what you said, Brian. The big thing is you want to make sure that all of your soldiers inside your army are on the same page, working towards the same goal. You don't want to take any of them for granted and just have 15 different things and 15 different places moving in 15 different directions. We always use this example when we're talking with prospects. It's like if you had an orchestra and every member of the orchestra was playing a different sheet of music, all you would hear is noise. It would do nothing. It would not come out beautiful. But if you can get all those different instruments playing on the same sheet of music, well, what you can create is something beautiful. Our finances are no different. So whether you have IRAs or 401ks or taxable brokerage accounts or whatever type of investment vehicles you're using, if you can make sure that they're all working together towards the same common goal, there's a much higher likelihood of you hitting that goal in a much more effective and efficient manner.
Also, and I don't want to minimize that $100,000 bowling point, because just check this out, guys. If you're making 8%, and that's a very moderate, because if you just did the S&P 500, it's averaged 10% over time.
Yep.
So we're using 8% just to ward off the trolls. If you were just putting a Roth IRA contribution in every year it's going to be right in between years 9 and 10 that you would hit that $100,000 mark. And you're like, well, gosh, there's a lot of quit in between there. So I don't know if I'd stay the course in 9 or 10 years, during that 9 to 10 year period. But here's the reality. If you can stay the course and actually keep being consistent, keep putting that money in there, the last 500,000 on your journey to your first $1 million is going to be done almost 2 years faster, meaning that you're going to get 5 times the wealth building 2 years faster than that first 100,000. That's the power of compounding growth. Get in there, let your money work, and do not quit just when the getting's getting good.